Procrastinators, ADHDers, people with no motivation, lend me your ears. This week we are talking 5 tactics for beating procrastination. So if you've got a busy week ahead, this one's for you. Hi folks, I'm Becca and I talk too much and I have a confession. I am a procrastinator. I know, it will come as a shock to many, but not that many. I have often labelled myself as lazy and I'm sure others have too. I don't feel like a productive person. However, that's not fair. I am somebody with strongly suspected ADHD and I do have fatigue problems as a result of some health issues. So I'm not lazy, I just need to find tactics that work for me to get stuff done. And today I'm sharing 5 of those tactics with you because we need to get stuff done this week. So I'm not going to go into the fatigue issues this week that impact me, but I am going to talk a little bit about tactics that help people with neurodiversity and in particular ADHD. Caveat, I haven't been diagnosed, I am just working off of suspicions, strong suspicions, and tactics that even if you aren't neurodiverse, do genuinely help you to get stuff done. ADHDers often rely on external pressure or deadlines to get stuff done, and that is because we need that push. Without that sense of urgency or expectation, we really struggle to get started, we struggle with motivation. And I'm going to do another video on motivation because that is a whole topic in and of itself. We also struggle with time blindness, which can lead us to think we've got ages before we have to do a thing, and that's not always the case. Especially this week, my husband is away for the week, which leaves me home alone and fighting the urge to lay on that couch and marathon all 3 seasons of Ted Lasso in one sitting. So without my husband here, the only thing I have to drive myself is the impending deadline of his return a whole week away. And that's not going to cut it. So I need to use tactics to get stuff done this week. So let's start, shall we? Tactic number 1, set reminders. Setting reminders should be your absolute first thing you do if you're a forgetful procrastinator. If you're anything like me, you always remember to do things at the worst possible time. I have been meaning for months now, yes, months, to book a dentist appointment. They sent me a reminder via email a couple of months ago. That email came at a time I was in the middle of a load of work. I read it, I went, okay, I'll deal with this later. The email will serve as a reminder. Viewers, the email does not serve as a reminder. The email sits there. The email gets swamped by other emails. It starts going off the bottom of your screen. You never ever scroll down low enough to see that email again. It stays there. It is lost to the depths of the inbox. So instead, you remember at the worst possible times that you need to book this appointment. You remember at 7 p.m. when you're sat on the couch, and that's no good because the office is long shot. You can't phone them to book an appointment. No, you need to set a deliberate reminder. This is where reminders and to-do lists come in. If you are an analog person, get yourself a notebook, get yourself a planner. You know what? Don't get yourself one. I know you've got some. I know you've got half-used notebooks lying around. I know you have. We all have. It's okay. I find this most useful for work stuff for me because I always have a notebook on me for work and ticking off items as I do them is satisfying. But there's no reminders. So if you turn the page, that to-do list is gone. So I prefer and recommend using apps. If you're a digital person, there is nothing better than your phone. It comes with a built-in calendar app, whichever one you've got, whether you're an iPhone or a Google person, it's got an app on there with a calendar and it has to-do or tasks or reminders, something like that. And it will send you little notifications, hey, do the thing. I personally have never really got on with them. I just don't like the way they're set up. So I use dedicated reminder apps and there are probably thousands of different apps out there in the App Store that you can use. Have a play with them, try the free ones, see what works for you best. I have got on really well with an app called Finch. Now, this isn't sponsored, unless they would like to sponsor me, but Finch is a gamified to-do list. That is it. Well, that's what it boils down to at the end of the day. It's a Tamagotchi with a to-do list. You take care of a little penguin and you send him on adventures. That's it. But to send him on adventures, you need to get points. And to get points, you have to tick off items on your to-do list. I have a little penguin, he's called Minty. He is currently off exploring the Sonoran Desert. How he got there today is because I have ticked off certain items on my list. I got out of bed, I drank water, I did some exercise, I fed the cat, and I cleaned out his litter trays. Tick, 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 tick. Boom, Minty's off on an adventure. The key thing with an app like Finch is it can send you reminders. And what I really like about Finch is you completely customize the reminders. You don't even have to set a reminder, but do it. Set the reminder. You know you'll forget if you don't. It's the whole point of this tactic. You create your reminder. You can categorize it if you want to. If you want to categorize it under hygiene, healthcare, housework. Why did those all start with H? And then you tick the box to set a reminder, and then it gives you timing options. And this is the best part. Remember how I said I always remembered to book my dentist appointment at the worst time? Set it at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, I knew I didn't have any work meetings. I'd have free time to make a phone call. 10 o'clock, I know the dentist is open. Great, boom, appointment booked, tick. Minty's off on his exploring of the Sonoran Desert. It's also super useful for daily or weekly reminders to help build habits. So I have a reminder to put the bins out every Tuesday evening because they're collected on a Wednesday. I have reminders to water the houseplants or water the allotment. And the best thing about to-do apps is that notification can be left there until the thing is done. It is constantly there. That little penguin head is at the top of my phone screen until I tick the thing is done. Once you've got that notification, you've got the reminder, you know what needs to be done, we move on to the next tactic. Tactic number 2, prep. This is probably the single most helpful tip I've ever taken on board when it comes to getting stuff done. And it's one you'll have heard 100 times before. A lot of people, but especially ADHDers, don't see to-do lists as tick, 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 done. To us, each item in our heads can be broken down into multiple steps. For me, working out isn't just exercise, tick, done. It's multiple steps. It's get out of bed. It's find your workout gear. It's put your workout gear on. It's getting downstairs. It's pushing the sofa out of the way. It's putting your yoga mat out. It's putting your weights out. It's finding a video. It's doing the exercise. It's collapsing afterwards. It's showering. It's getting changed. There's just too much. And this isn't unique to ADHDers, but it is very common for ADHDers. This whole every step is more than just one step. It's multiple mini steps. It makes getting started really hard because we can see this whole roadmap of things we need to get done just to tick off a single item on our to-do list. So our tactic number 2, prep, is about ticking off the first item in that long roadmap as early as possible to help us get to the next step and the next step and the next step. So for each thing I need to do, I think about what the very first step is for me, and I do it as soon as possible or as far in advance, or set myself up to do it. In the case of watering the garden, I will make sure that the night before I fill up the watering can and I put it in full view of the back door. A constant reminder that I need to get it done, but also that's one less thing I need to do. I literally now just have to carry the watering can down and use it. For working out in the mornings, this starts the night before. I find what clothes I want to wear and I pile them up neatly and ready to be put on, not inside out, on top of my dresser. So when I get out of bed in the morning, I see them and it's one less bit of effort and makes it easier to actually put them on and then come down and do the rest of the workout activities. In the case of today, I really, really, really want to get some cleaning done, but I also know I'm going to be distracted by half a dozen other things, including filming this video. So let's put some stuff out to remind me and make it getting the cleaning materials out of the cupboard one less step to do. Cleaning spray, cleaning cloth, antibac wipes. Those are gonna haunt me all day until I do the cleaning. It's also one less thing to think about. Tactic number 3, creating routines. They say it takes 2 to 3 months or 66 repetitions of an action for it to become habit. If you're an ADHD, you can probably triple that. There's loads of videos on YouTube about the psychology of ADHD and why we have trouble forming and maintaining habits. There's loads of reasons. I'm not going to go into them all. I'm not a psychologist, but it's a problem. We know it's a problem. So how do we get around that? The way we get around that is routine. Wherever possible, I fold new tasks into an existing routine. And that means taking what I already do and just adding a step, especially if you've got time while you're waiting for things. My overnight oats are made the night before, as the name implies, but I have folded them into my evening routine. Rather than setting a reminder on my phone for 8 o'clock when I'm sat on the sofa and I'm not going to get up, stop what I'm doing, get up, make my oats, put them in the fridge, go and sit back down on the sofa, I instead do them while the kettle is boiling during my every night routine, which is making a cup of tea before bed. Did it happen immediately? No, of course not. That's not how routines work. You have to do them repeatedly and you have to keep at it. The more I did it, the more it became part of the existing routine. My routine went from tea, feed cat, bed to tea, oats, feed cat, bed. In the same way, a lot of people do things whilst they're brushing their teeth. Some people will wipe the bathroom surfaces down, or they will do their Duolingo whilst they're brushing their teeth, because it's kind of dead time, and ADHDers really like doing multiple things at once. And that allows us to get a little dopamine from doing 2 activities at once, but also check off another thing on our to-do list. Routines are obviously not a quick fix. They are a long-term habit building process that will help us in the long term, but not necessarily solve procrastination problems short term. But that's why it's worth starting now. The sooner you start building things into a routine, the sooner they become habit, the sooner you don't have to think about them, and boom, look at you, you're a productive human being. Tactic number 4, accountability buddies or body doubling. This is a well-documented tactic to help ADHDers and everyone get stuff done. Usually better for the bigger, more time-consuming tasks, but it's still good for little things like cleaning the kitchen. Body doubling, or as South Park has made me call it, accountability buddies.
Bradley, please! You're my accountability buddy! How will this make me look?
Means having company whilst you get stuff done. Ask your partner, your friend, your housemate to sit with you and talk to you whilst you're doing the thing that needs to get done. Phone your parent or a friend, put them on speakerphone whilst you work. Now with my husband away, the cat really isn't cutting it as an accountability buddy. It's okay, buddy. I don't hold it against you. You're a cat. I wish I was a cat. Glad we had this conversation. Which means I need other help. But there are other options. You can absolutely body double with an audiobook or a podcast or a TV show on in the background. Word of warning though, do not pick something you're actually interested in. Do not pick something you've never watched or listened to before. You will get distracted. I know you. I know me. The key here, pick an audiobook of a book you've read 1,000 times. Pick a podcast you listened to last week and just stick it on in the background. Pick a TV show that you could quote by heart. Likewise, watching YouTubers, there's loads of body doubling videos out on YouTube. There's even an app called Dubby, created by some YouTubers, which is specifically designed to show you videos of people doing activities around the house, like folding laundry or making the bed, and that acts as body doubles for you. In the case of today, you lot are my body doubles, because if this camera is on and I'm having to clean the kitchen, well, you can all hold me accountable. The point of body doubling or accountability buddies is simply to make you feel like you're not alone in what you're doing. It removes that feeling of FOMO and provides a mental multitasking that we need to see a task through. 5th and final tactic is rewards. We are far more likely to do the things we need to do if we think we're getting rewarded for them. Dopamine is what all ADHD brains and all brains actually crave. And unfortunately, the dopamine of completing a task isn't usually enough for ADHDers to feel like it's worth their while. It's really important for you to work out what works as rewards for you. Is it a little foodie treat? Is it a nice drink? Is it an episode of television? Is it 15 minutes sat down with a book? Is it going out for a walk? Is it getting to play that annoying game on your phone that you can't stop playing? Or is it something less tangible, like compliments from your partner? Is it somebody telling you good job? Is it being able to tick the thing off your to-do list? What acts as a reward for you? What gives you satisfaction of a job well done? But beware, sometimes we are too smart for our own good, and we realise that it would be just as easy to sit and watch the episode of television or eat the sweet treat before you do the thing, unless somebody's holding you accountable. See previous tactic. Where you can, if you can find a reward that directly links to the task you've completed, it means you're more likely to associate the two together. You're going to feel like you have to complete the task to get the reward. Telling myself I can watch an episode of Ted Lasso and eat a Mars bar ice cream when I finish recording this video is all well and good. But my brain goes, but you could watch an episode now and then record the video. Because I like to sabotage myself. So where you can, link rewards to the task. Not every task has an obvious reward outcome, so that's where something like praise or thanks or recognition from somebody could work for you if you are someone that needs that. I know that my husband telling me he's proud of me is a massive boost for me, for my mood for the day. So asking him to do that for me when I've done a task makes me feel better. But it's still not as good as actually having a reward linked to the task. So a friend of mine who does go to the gym, she has a stash of treats in her locker at the gym. So she does have a locker at the gym, which makes this easier. But those treats are stored in her locker at the gym. She has to actually be at the gym to get those treats. And since she's at the gym, she may as well do the workout and then reward herself with one of the treats. One of my tasks this weekend is I need to clear out my wardrobe, and that means my reward will be replacing some items in my wardrobe. I've got myself a little budget, my little reward budget, and I will buy myself a couple of tops. But I'm not going to be able to do that until I have been through my wardrobe and know what I need. So that is a reward directly linked to the task at hand and can't be done, well, it could be, but I'm not going to do it before the task is finished. This is the last section of the video I'm recording, and therefore I do have my sweet treat ready to go, and I do have the telly on, lined up with an episode of Ted Lasso. So there you have it, 5 tactics to beat procrastination, and I'm going to use them all this week. I have stuff to do, and I will do it. These are tactics that are tried and tested, not just by myself, but loads of people out there, and you may even be doing some of them already and just not even realizing it. If you're not already doing them, give them a try. Let me know how you get on in the comments, and best of luck getting stuff done this week. I've got myself my reward for doing this video. I've got an episode of Ted Lasso queued up, so I'm gonna do that before I get on to tidying my wardrobe. Hopefully you've got a productive day ahead of you. Take care, lovely people. This has been Becca Talks Too Much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.